Hello, lovely people,
Hi.
and welcome to our latest episode of Sit
Tight
Tight Podcast.
Woo!
So today,
Why'd you sound
ladies
so- what are you doing?
and gentlemen, listen, I'm trying to be official, innit?
Why?
Zed. So
Wow.
today we're gonna give you a little gist of what we do and who we are.
Who we are, yeah.
So today we're gonna talk about a lovely subject dear to our hearts called nursing.
Yay. Yay.
And we're also going to talk about our nursing journeys, because I know there's lovely, lovely student nurses and prospective nurses that are out there wondering, oh, how do you get to where you are now? What do I do? Guys, we're going to answer it all for you, telling you about our journey to get into how and like where we are basically.
Yeah. You covered it.
All right, so
Shannon what are you, Shannon? What's your pathway?
So my role is, what official role?
No, not your role. Like, what pathway?
Oh, so I'm a general nurse, or nowadays they say I'm an adult nurse, so I'm an adult nurse.
Yeah, and I trained in learning disability nursing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
They're very different.
very different on the spectrum.
But they intertwine with each other.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
So, boy, where did I go? So, guys,
What uni did you go to? How was your uni experience?
I went to Essex University. Mm-hmm. First thing I realised, there's a lot of mature students doing nursing. I can't lie. It's not just like a lot of young people. There was loads of aunties and uncles.
I just had a student nurse that finished, and it was 50-plus-old year old uncle.
I
had to fail him. I'm so sorry. We'll talk about that.
Whoa.
I failed him. I
Whoa.
had to. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I think I had a student, she was like 52. And like, yeah, she's old enough to be my mum. She was like 52. She's like, and every time I said something, she'll try and finish my sentence. Like,
Uncle used to do that.
but I don't understand why.
Yes.
Let me finish my sentence. Yeah. Why are you finishing my sentence?
It might be older people thing.
But why?
Maybe that's what they do.
But like, why?
But what made you want to go into it? What made you want to go into nursing?
Oh, do you know what? I actually wanted to be a doctor, but then I just couldn't be bothered to study for that long.
Me too.
And I was like, do you know what? Let me get into nursing. And also you actually have more quality time with patients, and you have more time to speak to people in general. So that's why I was like, do you know what, guys? I want to be a nurse.
And most of the time you know more than the doctors.
Do you know, I can't lie. I'm so sorry, doctors.
I am sick and tired of correcting doctors.
Like, do you guys, like, do you know what? You do all those years of studying, but it's like, you're coming to me for a little simple prescription that you should have known 5 years how to do before I did. Like, come on, guys.
Come on now. Chelsea, come on now.
Come on now. Come on, John. John, you're not Johning. What is this?
So you went to, we had to apply for 5, didn't we? 5
Yes, so I'll be
universities.
honest, I actually originally applied for children's nursing because I actually wanted
Me too! Stop!
Really?
I did apply for all my unis.
Yeah,
I
all
applied
of mine.
for, me too, and then I got
Sorry, guys.
How have we been friends this long? I
Sorry.
never knew this.
Trust me.
That's so...
Yes, so I applied for like King's. I applied for City University.
I did see.
I went to their summer school, and that's how I met one of my two of my close friends. We met in the summer school. It's like nursing midwifery. I wanted to be a midwife, but they put me off saying that if you're gonna hold babies all day, don't do midwifery.
To be fair, my cousin did do midwifery, and on the first day after break, she didn't go back. She dropped out.
It's not looking good, bruv.
Literally, on the first day after break time, she said, "Nope, this is not for me.
It's not looking good,
This
bruv.
is not for me." So
Not
she
looking
dropped out.
good.
So yeah, maybe that was true. What am I saying? But carry on. You wanted to do.
Yeah, and then I think I applied to Southampton. I applied to Edinburgh. And that's where I got to. But unfortunately, because I was a little bit of a naughty kid in school that had a very big mouth and got in trouble, I actually didn't get the grades that I was supposed to get. So it was either take a gap year or go for adult nursing, which I did. And honestly, I don't regret it because I feel like there's more opportunities. And also, sick children make me really sad. So, there. What about you, Rent?
Mine is basically like, in a way, yeah. So I basically applied for children nursing. I wanted to do children nursing because, if you know me, I'm obsessed with kids. But so I applied to City. I think I applied to the DMU. I applied to Hertfordshire. I don't even remember the other two that I applied to, but I did go to an interview for Hertfordshire, but I didn't pass the maths. You know, you have to do maths and English.
Yeah.
I always used to pass the English. In City, I was like 2 marks off the thing, so I didn't pass it in City as well. And in DMU, they called me back, and said, actually, looking at your personal statement, you have more experience with learning disability. So we would like to offer you that instead. And then, Canterbury, I applied there. They offered me children's nursing, but they wanted me to do it in the March intake.
Oh.
And I said, I do not like education that much to take this gap and want to go back
You're
in
not
March.
a backup dancer.
I definitely wanted to like go straight in September, October. If I knew that if I took that gap up until March, I probably wouldn't have gone. I probably would have got a job, and because I don't like education that much.
I don't think anyone does.
So if you give me a little leeway, I will take it, and I exactly. So then I was like, actually, do you know what? I do have a lot of experience. I did have a lot of experience in learning disability. I was doing this what's it called? Performing arts with children with learning disability after college on Wednesdays, and then I feel like I was always meant to do learning disability because I was doing applied sciences in college, and we got 1 week placement, and we didn't get to choose, and I got special needs school and absolutely fell in love. Like I loved it from there. So I was like, yeah, sure, why not? And then went to DMU and did learning disability learning disability nursing. Not the most funnest 3 years of my life. Mate. I actually wanted to quit in the third year.
I wanted to quit in my second year because I got really sick.
Oh, see, you have a valid reason. I just had enough. It was too stressful. Placement, exams, courseworks, and the money that we were getting wasn't even a lot.
Do you know what's saying that during uni? So I was one of the brave people. I didn't take any loans. I didn't take any money. I worked throughout. And my parents helped me, but majority of the time I actually worked. So we do like 12.5-hour shifts if you're in a hospital. I'll do 3 12.5-hour shifts and then try and work my way to do either like 2 12.5-hour shifts, days or nights in that same week. So I was working throughout. So most of the time I had a social life, but I didn't because I was working to ensure that I actually had enough food to feed me.
Well, I took out the maintenance loan, but I was still working.
It was like 2,500 a year. It was very small.
It was small. It still wasn't like the bursary that we were getting was not covering my rent. So I had to use some of the maintenance student loan to cover that and basically use me working the extra whatever I was doing to then live life, I suppose.
Bursary. Do you know how much I got for a bursary? Because they did a bursary.
Oh yeah, because they have to do it. Or your parents' income.
Let me tell you something, guys. The way I struggled. This NHS. Let me not say anything because I don't want to lose my job.
Yeah, don't lose your pen.
Basically, they do it according to how much your parents earn. They only. Do you know how much they gave me?
A month. How much did they give you?
Guess.
200.
No.
100.
I got £83 a month from the NHS because that was based on what my parents earned.
I got 450 something.
That would have paid my rent when I moved out into a house. Listen, £83. That's why I had to keep working.
That makes sense.
So the way I worked my ass off, guys. I think that's why I got sick as well because I lost loads of weight and everything. Like I was scared. Yeah. The stress. I worked my ass off. So I was working. I was doing placements. I was doing exams.
It's a lot.
I'm dealing with all this stupid uni nonsense as well.
Oh my God, it's so much. Like literally third year, halfway through, I said, no, I've had enough. I'm going to quit. I can't do it. I had a chat with the head of nursing. I had a chat with my personal tutor, both of them together. They're like, Lorenzo, you're nearly there. Listen, I cut my hair off, dyed it ginger. I said to my mum, I'm going to pierce my nose. It's either I drop out or you let me do whatever I want to do. Because she didn't want me to pierce my nose. In first year, I pierced my nose. And then she was like, no, take it out. And so I took it out. But then this third year, I said, no, I'm going to do it. And I said to my mum, if you don't want me to drop out, leave me. let me do what I need to do to keep myself sane, to push through to the end and get out of here. And she didn't say anything.
To be fair, I was literally like, do you know what, Mum, I'm going to give up. I was so then do you know, I was like, do you know what? I'm going to get my nose, I wanted to get the septum piercing, but my parents said if I get that, they'll disown me. So I didn't tell them. I just rocked up after being at uni for a bit, and I was like, guys, do you notice anything different about me? I got my nose pierced and I got my conch, whatever that's called, pierced. But that was just kind of like, I just wanted to just...
You just want to do something for you.
And I got a tattoo as well.
Oh, I didn't. That would have... my mum would have fainted. She would have been gone. That would have been the last straw. But isn't it interesting what we got, like the amount of things that we went through? Because I think I definitely, uni, we had therapists and stuff like that. You get free therapy and stuff like that. For second year, I went to therapy. Third year, I definitely went to therapy again, and through uni. So mental health wise, it was so just very unstable because the course is a lot. It takes basically you're working in placements like you're actually working for money.
Yeah,
you're actually working like you're working for money, and then you've got all these extra stresses. So it's so interesting how we both just went through it a lot, and where we are now in terms of our careers, because for our ages
we're doing banging.
And where we are now in terms of our progression, we've progressed really quickly. Like there are some nurses that have been doing nursing for
20 odd years and they're still in the same position.
Exactly, and they're still the same band, and and we came and we said bam 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 bam.
Nope,
you guys,
we have a vision, we're gonna aim
for it.
No, do you know what it is as well? Like people don't realise this. Nursing is one of the hardest degrees, and so many places have actually certified it. Yeah. In nursing, most people, they'll do their degree. You got your summer holidays, you got Easter off, you've got this. In nursing, we've got 52 weeks in a year.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same for everybody else, but my uni, I was in uni for 46 weeks. Yep. Bearing in mind, I only had 6 weeks in a year to actually be with my family.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Everyone will be done in May. We'll still be going.
In August.
In August, we will still be in uni.
Literally doing placement, trying to finish your portfolio, doing your exams, doing your OSCEs.
Personal statements.
All the time.
All these little things. It's crazy. And then, there's that pressure at the end. You've got to do the maths test and you have to get 100%.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you don't pass the whole thing. You don't pass the course. Basically, you fail.
And you only get 2 attempts.
Yeah.
And then you're out.
And then that's it. Like everything that you work towards, all these 3 years is just down the line. And you also have like I said, I failed a student because obviously I failed a student on my placement. But you also have that pressure of passing that placement. So you're not just going placement just to go to placement.
You need to
pass that placement.
You need to work hard enough because the other thing people don't talk about is sometimes it's your mentors. Some mentors have bad minds. On my first
placement, it was jealousy. I swear it was jealousy.
It is jealousy because you see I'm young, you see I'm thriving and I'm going for my dream. Yeah. And because you're a bitter old witch or wizard.
It was jealousy. They were mean. Some of them were mean.
They're really horrible for no reason.
It was like they were never in our position.
They forget where they first came, where they came from.
Yeah, some of them were really mean, and then like you just push yourself and you exhaust yourself just trying to please everyone, not just your mentor, all the other staff in the placement as well, so that you're able to pass this. So it's definitely one of the hardest courses you can ever do.
Yeah, my first placement but I'm never been in healthcare. I was only 18. My
baby girl.
My gal. She wanted me to run she made me run a whole clinic.
Huh?
I ran a whole clinic doing leg dressings. Leg ulcer clinic. And then do you know what was mad? I did everything fine. Guess she didn't even want to pass me. The way she tried to fail me on my first placement. Literally, I did everything, changed all my shifts, the thing in my placement was 2 hours away from where I lived.
They were bad mind for doing that because I had placements that were far.
Do you know what I mean? Sometimes you're lucky if a train comes every half an hour.
Because you were all the way outside London.
Mine, I was all the way in Essex.
Oh my God. I was in Leicester and the buses will come every 20 minutes.
Sometimes I had to walk 30 minutes. I'd get a train. And
to get to the bus stop. Yeah.
Get a train, walk 30 minutes just to get to placement.
Yeah.
If you were nice, you'd have a mentor be like, oh, let me drop you to the station on my way back.
Yeah, there's always some that are really nice.
Yeah, some of them, they'll be like,
when they have cars,
oh, make sure you get here on time tomorrow. And I'm like, you do remember I'm 18 years old. It's probably the first time I'm out of home by myself, living by myself or away from parents. Like, it's very hard to take on that. That's when the adulting is really adulting, because you don't really have anyone around you to direct you to that adulting. You just got to find your own feet.
Yeah, and literally I had some placements where I was like, it was 14 hours shift. 14 hour shift. And I remember I also had like a mental health placement, but then there was some patients with LD, learning disability as well. And it was a very high secure.
High secure.
We had to like carry around, I forgot what they called it, but some kind of alarm thing.
Yeah, you have to have an alarm.
Have an alarm.
If you have like 2 sets of keys or anything, you have to have a belt as well.
Yeah. That shit was scary.
Listen,
on my first day, I was like, good damn. And they had like a room where they called the isolation.
Yeah, the isolation
rooms.
Yeah, I've worked in mental health. The isolation room is not pretty.
It's
scary.
It's very scary. And as young people trying to navigate lives,
you see that and you're like, damn.
When you're thrown into that, you're just like it's really. So what? Like now, when I get students on placements and I'm their mentor, I'm very mindful. But this uncle, I couldn't do it. I tried, Shannon. I tried my hardest to pass this uncle, but I just, and you know when because I'm the assessor, but there's also 2 supervisors, and every single person in the whole clinic are complaining about the same thing about this person.
There's not much you can do.
There's not much I can do. My hands are tied. And I'm like sleeping in meetings.
Oh, no.
During appointments with patients, he will be yawning and stretching. Mind you, we're seeing young people who want to commit suicide. Young people whose mental health is very unstable. We're seeing 10-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds whose mental health, don't even ask me how a 5-year-old has a mental health, but we get there. That's a thing, you know. And you as a clinician, you're trying to, create a comfortable, welcoming environment so they can open up to you and you can see how you can help that child. And you have big old uncle sat there yawning and stretching.
Listen, I can't lie, uncle. I don't know why you don't drink coffee, because you're bad. And the thing is, uncle, I'm going to call you because I don't know your name. Imagine if someone presented themselves to your children like that. How would you feel? Someone not taking them seriously, someone just yawning. Would you not feel a type of way?
That's not even the worst thing, Shannon. Uncle is meant to be doing mental health nursing, right? This was his master's, right? So master's is 2 years if you're doing nursing and his master's. This was his second placement in second year. So that means there's one more placement left and he's qualified.
That's so bad.
Doing medicine management, why could he only tell me 2 medications?
It's not
and
safe.
It was the simplest medication, melatonin and sertraline.
I can't lie, I put you down fitness to practice.
That's what I had to do. And even the sertraline, I had to keep probing him to tell me what sertraline is used for. What diagnosis the person needs to have to be able to be prescribed sertraline. Uncle didn't know.
Do you know what? I'll be honest. So during the COVID pandemic, I feel like nursing students, you were stripped of so many opportunities because
absolutely.
of COVID.
Yeah.
And I just feel like that practical side of being in the wards and being in hospitals, because I honestly believe you learn more when you're on the wards in terms of like medicines management, the different medications. Fine,
He's
but
been
also
on wards. I'm just saying.
He's been on the wards as well.
He's been on even PICU.
Oh.
Yeah, he was on PICU wards. Before our placement, he was on a PICU ward.
Oh, I can't, like, uncle, I can't help you, because it sounds like you've had all the opportunities to navigate yourself.
He did.
Like obviously there's self-directed learning as well. And the thing is, I'm assuming, uncle, you may have children. You'd want your children to sit down and learn their book and get top grades. So why are you not doing that for yourself?
And you know what's funny? His children definitely wrote his mid-interviews and final interviews. You know, when you have to do your write it and then the assessor has to read it.
Wow.
And, because his grammar, even his note-taking, I couldn't use any of his note-taking for patients. Terrible.
How did they even pass him to get to that point?
This is my question. But do you know sometimes you have mentors that can't be bothered with it. They're like,
that's another topic because I've come across newly qualified nurses where if I was their sign off, I wouldn't have signed them off.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, same.
And also, apparently, you know, when you signed them off, apparently they're working underneath your pin for 6 months.
This is why I didn't want to sign this guy off because I said, I'm so sorry. No, they are.
I never knew that.
Oh, did you know? Oh, no, I knew because I said, it's not my pin that's going to be taken because I signed you off. And then in the first, like you said, in the first 6 months, if you made a mistake, it will double back on me. Who signed him off that he can do so and so? And I'm so sorry. He is so unsafe. So
he shouldn't be out practicing.
I wouldn't want him looking after my child or anybody in my family member. That's how bad it was. Because sometimes you want to give them a leeway, you know, oh, uncle, you know.
It's about being safe.
But it's about being safe. And this is people's lives in your hands. Like you're doing mental health is even like, it's worse than physical health. If you think physical health, you can treat it, you know.
Not all the time,
but most of the time. And also you have like different people. You've got loads of other staff that comes and, you know, continuation of care and stuff like that. But most of the time, if you're doing mental health nursing, you have a caseload.
Yes.
Most of the time.
Yes, that's true.
And you're responsible for these caseloads. So if anything happens, it's on you. You have to be on job.
They'll call you to coroner's court.
That's one place I never want to see in my life.
Do you know?
Ever. I'm scared of that place because the amount of stories I've heard, they're really screwed.
I'll be honest with you. In terms of if I had to put all the healthcare professions on a hierarchy of who's more likely to lose their pin, I'll actually put midwives first because I've heard midwives, they're very... Listen, if something goes wrong with that mother or her baby, you're going to lose your pin.
Yeah.
I'm going to put mental health nurses second because you're always called into coroner's court because the thing with adult and people are taking their life, but the thing is I always say, why is there such a big gap between physical and mental health? That is literally what is offing people. Yeah. And that's another reason why mental health, adult nursing, in adult nursing, actually I'll put children's nursing because the drug calculations are very, very hard. So I think adult nursing, you're least likely to lose your pin.
Yeah.
So I don't actually know anyone who's lost their pin.
Because there's been some when
instances.
I was working on the stroke ward, there was some uncles and aunties there I was like, how the hell did you pass? And they're able to go through the shifts, you know, get through the shifts and be doing nursing for however long they've been doing nursing for. And I'm questioning in my head, how did you get here? I don't understand.
It's a bit mad, guys. I can't lie.
Do you want to do the timeline of where you've...
Oh, yes, guys, my lovely darlings. And all my former colleagues will be wondering, okay, I don't know how old this girl, you don't have to know my age.
Yeah.
So I qualified in 2018. I got a first. Don't watch that.
I got second class, but you
know. So I graduated. So I first went to St. Bart's Hospital. That hospital looks like a hotel. Beautiful. I started off in specialist cardiology, very, very specialised, not your usual cardiology ward. There was actually 5 specialities in that cardiology ward.
Wow.
As a newly qualified nurse. Yeah. I was stressed. I'm surprised I didn't go grey. Following that, I moved to Royal London to work in polytrauma, and that's where I met Laurentia.
No, you met me when you were still in cardiology.
Oh yeah, I did. Sorry, I did. I was going to disturb her when
you went to disturb me when you came to Royal London Hospital.
And I worked there for about 9 months, and I'll explain why I left after 9 months. And then after that, I went to work in St. Thomas, where I got my junior assistant post in a general surgery ward. So as you can see, I move around specialities.
Hello, band.
And I was a band 6, Woo! So multifaceted and all that. And then during COVID, because I felt like a year in COVID felt like 3 years in nursing years because it was very long and I saw a lot. I wanted a break, so I actually left and entered mental health, and I became a band 7 at the age of 23. I was 23 when I got it.
Was it 4?
Or 4?
3
24.
was the 6.
I was 24 when I got 7. I was a practice development nurse in mental health, so my job was to more so educate the mental health nurses in regards to physical health and do simulation sessions to ensure that their clinical skills are kept up to date, and I'll teach them how to do ECGs, vital signs, all that jazz. And then after 6 months, I was like, I missed the ward. I feel like I'm losing my skills. So I went to my local hospital, and I'm currently an acute care senior sister. So I'm literally in between a charge nurse and a practice development nurse. I do a bit of both.
Don't tell them the hospital.
I'm not going to.
Okay.
And I also do a lot of managerial like responsibilities, but I'm not a manager. I just kind of deputize in my manager. So it's like a hybrid role. I'm kind of like a bit of a PDN, mostly a charge nurse, but also acting as a deputy ward manager. And that's where I am right now.
Look at you. And how old are you now?
I'm going to be 27 in a few months.
Goodbye. Why are you saying it like you're going to say you're going to be 40 in a few months?
I'm like 50 in nursing years.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Nursing ages you like mad.
What about you?
Me, I did learn disability nursing. However, when I was going to graduate, I always knew that I wasn't going to go straight into learning disability because I felt like we needed a lot of clinical skills. Our placements didn't really give us a lot of that, and I felt like obviously I would get more of that in a hospital environment, and I didn't want to be like any like usual LD nurses that are not much clued on in terms of clinical skills and things like that. So I was like, do you know what? Fuck it. I'm very impulsive sometimes. An idea comes in my head and I'll do it. So when it came time for us to apply in like halfway through third year, I think. So I just applied to Royal London Hospital. I applied to the stroke unit where it was kind of hyperacute and also acute side of it. I was in stroke for... So after 1.5 years of being on the stroke unit, I decided to go into school nursing and go back into my roots. So school nursing, special needs school. So I got band 6 over there, but doing that part-time. They only had a part-time role. So I was doing 2 days over there and doing 2 days at Royal London. So it was so weird. So I was doing band 5 and band 6 at the same time. So I would do Thursdays and Fridays at the school and then any other days during the week at Royal London Hospital. And then I was there for like maybe 6 months. And after that, they gave me like a full-time job in another special needs school, but under the same team. So I left, I went there. And then again, like Shannon, when I was 24, I decided to apply for a band 7 job in children and adolescent mental health. So, as CAMS. Again, I feel like LD nurses, we can go everywhere.
See, if you can.
So, like, I went to adult nursing, then I went into children in a way with the school, and then I'm now in mental health and children because we work with children from 5 till 18, and that's it. And now I'm a 7. I'm a what they call a clinical nurse specialist, LD nurse, over there, and I got my own caseload, which is a lot of caseloads, a lot of kids on my caseload. I've got about 71 children just for me. So it's a lot of responsibilities, but my work environment, the office, the people at my workplace is the best workplace I've ever been. Because everyone is so nice, and my workplace is very like they try really hard in terms of mental health of the staff, like well-being. We have like a well-being officer, and now we have like a little well-being corner. We have a well-being teddy for the office. We have the yoga balls that we can bounce on in the office. We've got ice masks.
Wow.
We've got massages.
Bougie.
Yeah, we've got massages. They just recently started getting them on. And then we've got like a sweet corner, but I don't eat sweets. So there's like pots with loads of sweets and some fruits as well. And now here we are. We are, nearly 27 and band 7s.
Love it.
And I think we've done quite well.
I think we've done amazing.
I think we've done quite well, yeah.
I think that one thing I always come across is there's so many professionals who are a lot older than us, and they always come to me. They're like, do you know what? If I had the same opportunities as you, like I would do the same thing that you do. Or like, do you know what? It's lovely to see young people moving up.
Yeah.
Because there is a taboo that obviously there's this whole you need life experience thing before you progress to another role. But do you know what? It's normally based on your professional practice and your confidence. If you feel like you can go for that role, what is stopping you? Yeah. Don't listen to anyone that says, "Oh, I think aren't you a bit too." If I got £1 for every time someone said, "Oh, you're a bit too young for this," I would have been retired from nursing at this age.
Listen, exactly. You have to go. Like literally, when I saw that band 7 job, I was like, I've only been a band 6 for like a year. Like that's a very high band, especially at this point in my this point in my qualification years or whatever. I was like, what's the worst that could happen? They could just say no. Okay, move on. I just did it, and then I said to you, Shannon.
She was like, why don't you go for your band 7?
Yeah, I was like, go for band 7, do it. Literally, you just have to do it. You just have to, push.
Like, yeah, no, to be fair, when she was like, she went for a 7, I was like, if she can do it, what can stop me? Because I had a friend, she got her band 6 within a year. My best friend, she went and got her band 6 after a year. Yeah. And then after that, I was like, okay, so what is stopping me from doing this?
Yeah.
So I searched, and I was like, do you know what? If I stay where I am not going to move on. And that's something that people need to grasp. And this is my message to all you newly qualified or aspiring nurses. Do not stay in one place because you will not progress.
No, you won't.
You'll be there for 15 years until no one wants to apply for the band 6 or band 7 role. You'll literally just be a log. So,
you'll be a log.
Okay, when I say a log, okay, let me.
No, but seriously though, there are people that you go to the workplace and you ask them how long they've been there, and they're telling you they've been there for 30 years, and I'm like, it cannot be me. No, I cannot come and die.
That cannot be my portion. You've been there longer than I've even lived.
Exactly. Literally.
Like, no. And do you know what it is? It's like a mixture of comfort. Like, they're comfortable where they are, but I don't actually think it is. I think they're lying. I think what it is... No. You people that say you're comfortable where you are lying. Do you know what it is? And I'm going to be so honest and blunt with you. You've probably applied for that higher position, but you didn't get it.
They didn't get it, and then they just stopped.
And you just stopped. You gave up.
And that was it. But let's talk about workplace drama.
Oh, where do I...
The politics that happens in the workplace.
So politics. The higher the hierarchy you go up, the more politics you expose yourself to. So if you're a band 5... you won't see much politics. You'll just see small like.
Yeah.
Once you become a band 6, oh, okay.
You will see what's going on.
You'll be hearing the matrons and the ward managers.
Yeah. And then
like dogs.
There's also like managers' favourites.
Oh yeah, there's always, even when you're a band 5, you'll realise the favourites.
Yeah.
I remember, on my first ward, I definitely was not a favourite. They didn't like me, like, because I just kept on giving it to them. And probably because I always kept on crying. And I was like, you guys...
Why were you crying?
They made me cry. They were so mean to me. One time I went home and I cried. I was like, you guys don't like me. It's not even like you don't like me. Like, I'm newly qualified. Yeah. Like, I just need you to make me feel like I'm at home. And I refuse to go to the Christmas party. Anyway, they know who they are. Yeah, when I was band 6, I realised there was definitely favourites. I think I was one of my manager's favourites, actually.
I think, when I was about 5, I was a little bit of phallus. I was just going to say...
Oh, yeah, her name.
Just going to say her name. I was definitely a little bit of my manager's favourite at times. And there's always like... Do you know what? Nurses are... We have the worst workplace environment.
Oh, don't get me started.
Like, we are very catty and very bitchy.
Very.
Very, very bitchy in the workplace. And do you know what I hated when I was working in the hospital? Oh. When you're giving someone a handover after you finished your shift, and they can clearly take over. It's literally like 8:30, you're done, you're giving them the handover. And as you're giving them the handover, they're like, oh, so did you not do this? Did you not do
like, why? If I'm handing something over to you, why are you asking me that
question?
Why
are you asking me if I didn't do it? Like, if a medication was, supposed to be for 8:30, and I'm handing over...
You're going to do it on your shift.
You have to do it on your shift.
Yeah.
I can't do it on my shift. I've got so many people that will, like... Well, not so many people, but I had that one particular...
There's always one
that would just like be looking at the, like the bedsides, everything, trying to pick and point and stuff. And it's like, oh, so why do you mind doing it before you go? No,
it's 24-hour care. Continuity care. Like,
yeah, I have to. That's the whole point of me handing it over to you.
I don't understand people like that. It's like, I think one thing I realised as I progressed, I realised the sort of mentor or like manager or someone senior that I wanted to be based on the only experiences that I had. So like, especially if you hand something over that you know you can't do, why are you asking me if I've done it? Like, you asked me if I've done something, but you didn't sign me off for my competency. So why are you asking me such a stupid question?
Exactly. So yeah, like you said, you just have to learn from the people that are around you, those that are giving you the best experience and those that are giving you the worst experience. And also I wanted to talk about workplace romance. I feel like we're running out of time.
Mate, workplace romance. I can't listen, yeah. I'm not outing anybody, but I'm just saying, all you nurses that keep on sleeping with that one guy, can we stop it? Can we stop it? You're letting this one guy run around you guys like you're roller coasters.
And sometimes
like,
it's the doctors. It's a doctor.
I've never seen, do you know what? Everywhere I've worked, they've never been a good looking doctor.
Me too! What is up with that?
I know.
What the hell is up with that?
I knew this one girl that slept with a few doctors. She's like, well, they're not on this ward. I'm finding them on other wards. I was like, oh. You go.
And maybe that's the trick. Maybe you have to go to other wards. I know
this one, yeah. This place I worked, yeah. There was this CNS, yeah. This guy, he ran through all the women on the ward like traffic lights. Even the managers. The managers were beefing each other.
Not the managers.
He slept with the managers. They were beefing each other. One of them became an AMP and one of them became a matron. They were beefing over this one guy. And I think he even impregnated one of the girls.
No.
Yeah. So my guy, that sauce must be dripping like anesthetic because all these women are drunk on his love. Oh my gosh. Damn.
Would you ever have a workplace romance?
If they're not in the same department. So if I work in the medical department and you work in orthopedics, that's fine. Or if you work in theatre. If you work on my ward, I don't know you. We're not going to do nothing. You don't shit where you work.
That's true. Actually, to be fair, when mine started, they had already left.
Oh, that's fine.
They had already left, but not too long. And then I was nearly about to leave at the same time. But they had left to go downstairs.
Oh, that's a rotation. So that's fine.
Yeah, a rotation. So they went to a different place. But I remember when they started because it was like rotating. But I was in a relationship. I saw him. I was like, God damn, you're good looking. But I'm in a relationship and I'm loyal. I'm loyal to my boyfriend. I don't cheat. So I'm just you're gonna be a piece of eye candy.
I just look at you.
You're just gonna lift my moods when I see you at work. So and then obviously my relationship ended and I was still talking to this guy, and like I said, he had left, but he had left downstairs, and I had gotten sick, like really sick one day at work, and he didn't have my number, so he asked someone, and then when I went back to work, he was like, oh, I didn't have, I heard you got really sick, I didn't have your number, what's your number? I was like, check on you, blah blah blah. And yeah, when I was single,
yeah, I hear that, sis.
It just it happened, and
I hear that.
It was great.
Say that. Do you know a lot of nurses do find their partners at work? On a ward I used to be on, we had police officers, and 2 of them got married to police officers. I know bare people that like they get married to like physios or doctors.
Yeah.
I know a girl that I went to uni with. She met one of the doctors on the ward and they're getting married this year.
Oh.
And I'm just like, all you nurses, you're finding all these husbands, but
cute.
I don't see nothing when I'm on the ward. Oh my gosh, it's so sad.
That's so cute though. That's a nice,
It's really cute.
That's a nice start of love story. No,
I know. I got stalked by a security guard when I was in one of my hospitals.
You did,
and he went and told everybody that I was his girlfriend.
Well, to be fair, he was bringing you up food.
I didn't ask for it, but it was.
But
really
you
nice.
took it.
I took it, but nah, that got a bit mad. But it's always the security guards in hospitals that are always looking for the nurses. They're like,
It is always the security guards.
Always security.
Yeah, and the porters.
Oh
the
my!
The porters. I still have a porter till this day. He's still asking about me.
I have one porter. He always keeps coming to hug me, and he's like, Shan. I'm like, but then everyone's like, do you not think he's creepy? And I'm like, yeah, but. And they're like, Shannon, don't be naive. He's just being a creep.
Yeah.
Old man, like, I'm pretty sure you're old enough to be my dad and a half.
Oh.
But like, it's always the porters and the security.
They're
always lurking for the nurses. They have a thing for nurses. You think we're always going to nurse you back to health? You are a liar.
I will tell you one thing that I liked, and it might be it might be a bit controversial, but at this point, I've been through it too much that I don't really care if it's controversial. And also, like, I wouldn't be a nurse if I wasn't compassionate. But do you know one thing I liked about COVID?
What?
No visitors.
I
swear to...
Yeah.
I know it was sad most times when they weren't able to visit their families. But when I tell you that no visitors policy made my job so much easier to do every shift, because most of the time it was the families that were driving me insane.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh.
Some of them were horrible.
Oh, let's talk about that. Listen, yeah. I've had families, I've had tea thrown on me. I've had a family member try and fight me. Yeah. I've had to hold a family member back because they're going to go fight my colleague. Yeah. And it's always, and they say so many horrible things. I mean, one of them tried to threaten to call the police on me.
Do you know what's funny though? It's like you're doing all of this, but at the end of the day, you're leaving your family with me to go back home.
Yeah.
I'm the one that's going to carry on taking care of your family. Some of them, I had this family that they would keep buzzing to tell me, oh, she said she's cold. Can you move the blanket?
So,
you're right there. This is your family member. I swear, I had to bite my tongue. I'll be like, oh, okay. And I'll go.
You're a nurse, but you're not a slave.
And then they'll buzz again. Oh, she says she's so thirsty. Can you...
But is that not your relative?
Can you help her with the water? So what the hell are you here to do? Just to look at her face?
Like, you need to be mindful that we're looking after a bunch of other people. And like, if you care for your loved ones, you also try and make sure they're comfortable in our absence as well.
Yeah.
Like, the math is not math here.
It's not literally, and like you said, you have people that will come and they want to fight you.
Do you know how many times? Oh my days! I had one relative spit on me. They fully came with their chest and were like,
I would lose my pin.
Listen, I would lose my pin. Luckily, I jumped and I moved. And I said to them, listen, you're going to be red carded.
I would.
No, I called security and they took their ass out.
Yeah.
You come spit on me.
That's what you have to do.
Am I the ground?
What the hell?
And the thing is, yeah, it wasn't even me that did anything. It was not even me. It was my colleague. I just happened to go in there and I was like, oh, hi, how are you? You all right? It's like, you evil. And then, I'm like, whoa. I mean, I've almost been punched. I mean...
Oh, yeah, I've been punched. I've already been, not almost, punch kicked.
I've almost been knocked out.
Pinched. Like...
Almost got knocked out by a 90-year-old. My guy was like Conor McGregor. Boom!
When there's sundowning, you know the dementia when it's when it's the nighttime and there's sundown. Oh, my God.
Listen, this is why I can't work on the elderly.
But this was the stroke. So you would.
I almost got knocked out when I was on the stroke ward in my management placement. They're strong people, you know.
Listen, they might have stroke, but they are strong as. And it wasn't until I worked on a stroke ward that the whole idea of people thinking stroke only happens to older people.
It's young.
We had a 19-year-old as our youngest patient, and she came in with stroke. We also had a 21-year-old.
I had a 21-year-old
that came in with a stroke. She had strokes before and she was on warfarin, and then she decided to stop taking it. And then she had it again the second time. Left side weakness. She wasn't able to move, and she was there. I remember from Christmas for a very long time. We used to go in there and plait her hair. She was so no verbal, she lost her verbal ability to speak. But one thing is, whenever you enter her room or her bay, she'll have the loveliest smile. Oh. She'll have the biggest smile on her face. And I remember she got discharged after staying on the ward for so long, that we all kind of became family. Like, people would go into her room, plait her hair for her and stuff like that. Dad was black, mum was Chinese, and she got discharged with a walking stick. So she came a long way because she wasn't able to move at all and things like that. And one day I was walking home and it was dark. I had an umbrella on. I had just gone to pick up my friend from the train station going to my house, and it was chucking it down. And there was a car kept beeping at me. And we just kept walking, beeping, beeping, beeping. And I was like, what the hell's going on? I go to look into the car and she sat in the passenger seat and it was her. And I was like, how did you recognize my face? Just the loveliest person. I was like, really cute. My God. I was like, how are you? And her speech still wasn't too great, but she was able to get words out. But before, she would be writing on whiteboard and stuff like that. But no, there are little moments like that just warms your heart, and you just, like, in terms of nursing, when you like, the patient and the family are so appreciative of the care that you've given them, and you just feel so like, there's horrible times, but there's also good times.
There's a lot of good times, and I feel like a lot of people, there's so many bad things in the news, but there's the job in itself. I would not trade it for the world. I absolutely love my job. I would go into work and I could just look at a patient and I'll just start smiling and having that interaction, because essentially your patients become your family.
Yeah.
You get so attached to them, especially if you're nursing them for a long time.
Yeah.
I remember I had this trachea patient and I was with him for 6 months until the guy was walking and he gave me a hug before he went, and I cried. I was like,
those
I remember when you were like at your lowest.
Yeah.
And then I'm seeing you up again and you're walking around, and it's like, another thing that I actually love about nursing, this might be a 50-50. I actually like having students, only because
I do as well.
I want to give them the experience that I didn't have, because I did have a bad experience. And it's like, if I take someone under my wing, whether that be a student or a newly qualified nurse, I would want to try my best to support them the best that I can. And I know that because all of my former students or like former preceptees, they all feel supported by me. If you don't, guys, just drop me a message and I'll apologise. But like, I've never had anyone tell me that I'm not being supportive, because I always want to give them that experience that I never had, because I feel like if you have a conscience, you know what it's like, and you need to always support people around you, because we're always building up the next generation. The generation before us built us, and this is how we are, like, we've gotten to where we are, like, because of them. So we need to build the next generation to ensure that they're even better than us in that sense.
Actually, I like having students as well. Literally, like, when I do have students, wherever they go, like, wherever I go, you'll see them. Unless maybe I'm working from home or something, but I always make sure that they have, someone to, be with for the day. But if I'm in the office, literally, you see me, you see the student. And I try to have them have the most a lot of learning opportunities in that same placement, or if we have external kind of places that I know that they can gain extra knowledge, because we've got inpatients as part of our trust. We've got some of our kids that goes to some inpatients as well, if obviously they become too at risk of themselves. So we've got inpatient units that I send students to learn, and stuff like that. It's like you said, it's nice to kind of show them what you didn't get, because you will know, you're the best person to know, and things like that. But although nursing is a lot of work and underpaid and understaffed and very, very overstretched,
and sometimes seniors can be very, very mean.
There are still some good.
There are some good stuff. Yeah. I mean, I have one manager. She's the best manager that I ever had.
My manager
and bless her, she was my former manager. And I still, even if I go back to other like places to work around, I always ask for her. And one time I saw her and I sat down. I was like, and I don't think I ever told her, like, she was literally the best manager I had, because she always had a door open for me. She was always like, okay, like, if you want to come and talk, come speak to me. If I wanted to cry, or if I want to, like, honestly, she's the best manager. And I actually left that place, and I was actually considering going back if she was still the manager, but she left, so I never went back.
You always want to leave that imprint on someone.
And then I'm like, okay, this is, like, based on how she treated me and how well she run the place for like 3 years, that's the sort of manager I would want to be. And that's like the sort of person that I am now. Like, you try and be approachable, you try and be very open and like honest and transparent with people, because yes, we're in a profession where you have to be compassionate, but sometimes we have compassion fatigue, and sometimes when you're so fatigued, you're not compassionate, and you might rub off the wrong way with doctors or colleagues or managers, and it's just like that can create a toxic environment. And the one thing you want to do is obviously prevent that from happening, essentially.
So if nursing is something that you want to do, I would say definitely do it, but definitely don't go into it being pressured, because I feel like if you don't have the tenacity or the compassion or the patience, don't do it.
Don't force yourself to do it.
It's not a career that you can do for someone else, is it?
No, you have to do it because you love it and you're compassionate.
Absolutely.
And there are other routes to getting into nursing. So obviously you do know that if if in a sense you don't want to go straight to uni, you can become a HCA. You can do your apprentice nurse associate,
nurse and associate,
your ANA, and then obviously get the top up.
Yeah.
Doing that route, you won't be in any debt. You won't have to pay any tuition fees. It's fully paid for by the trust that you work in. So there's that option. Then they have the official 4-year degree apprenticeship for nursing. So again, that's another route that you can use. So that again, you don't have to pay tuition fees as well. Also, for all my newly qualified nurses, you do not have to wait so many years before you move up a band. Sis, bro.
If you know you can do it,
Go for it. Even if it's been 6 months. Those 6 months, yes, to someone that might be a short period of time. But remember, time is subjective. You may have gone through so much in that 6 months that you're pretty much ready to be a senior. So please go for it. The world is your oyster. Don't stick to where you just are. Literally apply elsewhere. Be ready to come out of your comfort zone. Because if you believe you can do it, you can achieve anything. So just apply. And be kind. Listen, we all get stressed out.
Yeah.
Please be kind to your colleagues, to your patients.
to yourself.
Exactly, because it's a compassionate, like, essentially, profession. You've got to be compassionate to everybody else, but also yourself.
Yeah.
And if you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of other people.
No, you can't. That's a good way to end that.
Yeah, guys.
We hope that we've given you guys, like, you know, a little bit more insight into us and nursing, and you know where we are now in our careers. And if you want to do nursing, if you need any advice because you're about to apply or whatever, drop us a
DM. Let us know
on our Instagram
if you want more. Because obviously nursing is a very broad subject. If you want us to talk about anything else in particular, like any advice, tips, stories, time,
we definitely can.
We definitely can do that for you if you like. Just drop us a DM.
Great. It's been me, Rance.
And it's been me, Shans.
Bye-bye.